Hello everyone, welcome to the second video in the SDL series. Today we're going to talk about making an event loop. So this should be very exciting. If you remember from last time, we created a window, and when we would run it, it would only run for 5 seconds. Now there's another little fun issue that we have there. As you can see, we have our window pointer, we create a window, we delay 5 seconds, then we destroy it, and then we leave the SDL interface. If I run that real quick, you can see that it's running, and if I click the exit, it doesn't do anything. So that's because we're not processing any events. We don't have an event loop. Before this video, went through, obviously I tested it, but I did comment out this code because I think this looks simpler. However, once we get this working, I might uncomment this code. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We're going to hold on to this code for the future when we start to do more things with the specific window. There's kind of actually two ways to look at this. Initializing everything, quitting everything, destroying windows, creating windows. That's kind of like almost like a framework thing if you were to put this inside of a framework. And maybe we'll start to build something that looks like a framework in a future video. This is more window specific. What do you want your window to do? So I'm going to leave this uncommented for now because I think it adds a little bit of clutter. But down the road, we might actually start to add to this class and start to show some of the powers that C++ give us with working with SDL. Such as if we forget to destroy a window and the program immediately quits, that's probably not a big deal. But if we have lots of windows and this is running over, I don't know, hours, years, depending on if it's like a diagnostic program or something, we would have a memory leak. So we'll deal with this stuff probably down the road. But for now, we're going to just disregard it and we're going to pretend it doesn't exist. All right, so we have a bare simple program again, and now we're going to add an event loop. Let's put in here a while true instead of a delay, which means that the program will never end. But what we need to do is we want to actually start to work with events and polling events and things like that. So if I come over to here, I have the SDL poll event up here. And this is just on the SDL's documentation. And it talks about all the different event types, and we are able to, I guess I had that highlighted for a reason. We are going to talk about this event here, and you can see we're basically copying the documentation, which isn't wrong because this is the way the program is designed to run. So instead of having a Boolean running, I had just a true statement. And let's put in here an SDL event, just like they have it in the documentation. And we will say if, before that we need to do a poll event. Poll event. We're going to pass in by reference. This actually changes, you can see here, a pointer. So since this is created on the stack, since we're copying documentation, we need this. If we were to make this a pointer, then we would not need to do that. But the documentation says to do it this way, so we will. We're going to pull the event, and then let's say if the event type equals SDL quit. Then I want you to break out of this statement, which is this while loop, and it should destroy our window. Now, if we click the X button, it works. How cool is that? Now, you might wonder, where did this come from? So let's go back to the documentation, take a look real quick. In our documentation here, we can see that there's various different types. One of them is the SDL quit event, which I already brought up here. And we have our poll event. and we have SDL quit as the type. You can see here it has a type, and then there's also a timestamp. So technically, if we wanted to say that this program is now ending after however many ticks, just like they have an example here, we could chain all this out and say that our event, it's the quit type, and then pull the timestamp out. We're not going to do that. You can see that right here. If you want to try it out, great. Yeah, try things out. That's the best way to learn. And even in this video, you can see we're literally almost copying documentation line for line. I did a while loop rather than a for loop with 2 semicolons in it. And yeah, this is an optimization. Let's do that real quick. I wrote it in order of as it was coming to mind, but yeah, this is an optimization. Let's take this out of our loop so we don't keep recreating it and destroying it every cycle. And if we pull this event, now when we get to type SDL quit, it will break us out of our while true loop and it will destroy the window. And that's it. That's all I wanted to cover today. I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter because I'm trying to make this more modular. But you can see here, the documentation is really handy. Take advantage of it. And just look through the code and step through it line by line. And it's really going to help you out. So in today's video, what we've done is we have created a window, which is not new. We've replaced our delay with an event loop, which basically says keep running forever, but process events for us. And the event that we want to process when we clicked on that X is a quit event. And then after that, we break out of our loop and we destroy our window and carry on with our lives. So it's pretty straightforward, but again, we got all this from the documentation. The documentation is so handy and so helpful. I really encourage you to take advantage of it. SDL is documented very well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it entertaining. Please subscribe, please like, do all the things that everybody else on YouTube says to do. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video.